Start with a deep, slow breath, a soft hum of stillness, a feeling of deep peace. Have you truly listened to the silence that gathers between two people? Not the harsh, empty silence that shouts of absence, but the quiet echo of something lost, something once so vibrant, so deeply rooted, that its departure leaves an almost imperceptible but persistent void. Something that once flowed like a river, generous and full, coursing with life's own rhythm, but has now gradually, almost without notice, receded to a mere whisper, a distant memory of its former self. You see, so often we speak of the grand narratives of love, the soaring passions, the dramatic turning points. But the true story, the enduring current, runs deeper. It's held in the subtle threads, the unseen bonds. Between a man and a woman flows not just passion, but life itself. A living current, invisible, yes, yet so profoundly felt that its presence or its absence shapes the very landscape of our inner world. A delicate dance of energies, a sacred exchange, a continuous giving and receiving that truly nourishes and sustains not just the connection, but the individual souls within it. It's the very breath of intimacy. But have you noticed how, over time, sometimes imperceptibly, sometimes with a quiet resignation, touch, that fundamental language, can become a forgotten language? A language we once spoke with such natural fluency, with such unthinking ease, instinctively expressing volumes with every brush of a hand, every tender fleeting glance, every comforting embrace, every gentle silent presence, shared in a space where words were unnecessary. And how, along with the fading of that primal tongue, something vitally important within us, a certain light, a certain warmth, a certain knowing, begins to dim? It's a subtle fading, isn't it? Like the slow, inexorable retreat of daylight, when the sun dips lower and lower below the horizon, and the vibrant, riotous hues of the world, the emerald greens, the sapphire blues, the ruby reds, first soften, then deepen, then surrender completely to the encompassing shadow. We might not even recognize it at first, this quiet departure, this gradual lessening of a vital force. We simply feel a little less vibrant, a little less connected, a little less fully alive. A quiet hum that once filled our being, now softened, almost to silence. This isn't about grand gestures, the theatrical displays of affection, or the dramatic declarations of undying love. No, it's about the everyday currents, the mundane miracles, the subtle intimacies, the unspoken affirmations, the constant gentle flow of recognition and acceptance that courses through the simple, honest act of touching and being touched. A hand on the small of the back, offered without thought, a lingering touch on the arm as you pass in a hallway, the profound warmth of a shared stillness on a sofa, in a bed, where bodies are close, in proximity, and souls closer still, in resonance. It's in these quiet moments that the true depth of connection is often found and maintained. When these subtle currents begin to slow, or worse, to cease altogether, what truly happens then? We often feel a quiet ache, a pervasive underlying longing deep within the very core of our being for something we can't quite name, a sensation, a feeling, a resonance that has gone missing, leaving a hollow space. It's the soul's yearning for its native tongue, for the language of closeness, the embrace of understanding, the profound reassurance of consistent presence in all its gentle forms. It's the body's wisdom crying out for acknowledgement. We might rationalize it away, dismiss it, tell ourselves it's just a phase, a natural evolution, that life gets busy, that responsibilities multiply, that priorities shift. We might convince ourselves that this is simply the way things are. But deep down, in the quiet, undisturbed chambers of our heart, there's a persistent whisper, a poignant question that refuses to be silenced, a deep memory of a time, perhaps long ago, when connection felt effortless, boundless, a source of unending renewal. That memory, it stays with us. This fading, this quiet retreat, it's not just a physical phenomenon, a mere lack of contact. Oh no. It's an energetic shift, a profound disruption in the subtle, intricate tapestry that weaves us together, not just as a couple, but as individuals. When that living current, that vital spark between us grows faint or breaks, we don't just lose a touch. We lose a piece of our shared world. We lose a vital connection to the very pulse of existence, to the generative force that fuels our lives. We lose a sense of our own completeness. Think of it, the profound simplicity, the unadorned truth of human contact. A small child reaches, instinctively, for a parent's hand, seeking comfort, seeking safety, seeking connection. A trusted friend offers, without a word, a comforting pat on the shoulder, a silent gesture of empathy, of solidarity. Lovers, in the quiet of the night, find solace, find belonging, find reassurance in the simple intertwining of their fingers, the merging of their breaths. Each touch, in its essence, is a miniature universe of meaning, a silent story told, in the language of skin and spirit. A bridge built between separate islands of being, a soul acknowledged, a soul recognized. When that bridge is no longer crossed, when those stories cease to be told in the honest, vulnerable language of skin and presence, then what truly remains? A space, perhaps, filled with quiet, but a quiet that can come to feel profoundly lonely. A silence that speaks volumes of unmet needs, of unspoken desires, of a hunger for true, deep intimacy that goes beyond words. A hunger that can gnaw at the edges of our contentment. It's not about the mechanics of touch, the simple act of skin meeting skin. No. It's about the intention behind it, the awareness it carries, the energy it transmits. When touch becomes a mere habit, an empty gesture, or worse, a forgotten ritual, something we no longer even think to do, it loses its intrinsic power to heal, to connect, to vitalize. It becomes a shell, a form without substance, devoid of the living current, the vital energy that truly animates it. And so, we start to feel fragmented, disconnected, not just from another, but from ourselves. The wellspring of our own inner energy begins to feel less abundant, less freely flowing, less accessible, because the sacred act of giving and receiving through conscious touch is a powerful, undeniable conduit for our own life force, for our own creative energy, for our own joy. It's a reciprocal flow that enriches both giver and receiver. In our quiet moments of reflection, that this fading intimacy is simply a sign that passion itself has run its natural course, that desire, that fiery spark, has simply dried up like a riverbed in summer, that the flame has simply gone out. But I suggest, with all the reverence I can muster, that it's often something else entirely, something deeper, something more profound. We think passion leaves us, but often it is we who have left ourselves. We retreat from our own longing, from our own sensual nature, that innate capacity for feeling and connection, from the deep, profound wisdom of our own body, which holds so many truths. We silence its gentle whispers, its subtle urgings, its quiet invitations to engage with life more fully. We ignore its pleas for authentic expression, and in doing so, unconsciously, we dim our own light. We sever the vital connection to the very source of our aliveness, of our creativity, of our joy. We retreat from our own longing, from our own sensual nature, that innate capacity for feeling and connection, from the deep, profound wisdom of our own body, which holds so many truths. We silence its gentle whispers, its subtle urgings, its quiet invitations to engage with life more fully. We ignore its pleas for authentic expression, and in doing so, unconsciously, we dim our own light. We sever the vital connection to the very source of our aliveness, of our creativity, of our joy. Desire, you see, is not merely a physical urge, a fleeting sensation. No. Desire is the language through which the soul speaks. It's the soul's inherent impulse to expand, to connect, to merge, to create, to experience the boundless richness of being alive in all its forms. When we shut down this sacred channel of desire, when we deny its validity, we inevitably shut down a significant part of our soul's unique and essential expression. We deny our own truth. And then the distance grows. Not just the perceptible distance between you and another in physical space or emotional availability, but a more insidious distance that grows within you. A subtle yet significant chasm between your spirit and your body. The body longs to be felt, to be cherished, to be acknowledged, to be honored. The spirit longs to express, to merge, to create, to soar. When touch disappears, when that vital bridge is withdrawn, this essential conversation, this sacred dialogue between body and spirit also fades into a quiet, lonely monologue. It's a form of grief, isn't it? A quiet mourning for what was, for what we once knew, or perhaps for what we intuitively know could be. A quiet sadness, a persistent ache that lingers in the periphery of our days, a constant, gentle reminder of something missing, a deep yearning for that sense of wholeness that comes from truly being seen, truly being felt, truly being touched with reverence, with presence, with conscious, unconditional love. This isn't about blame or guilt. It's about awareness. It's about recognizing, with a new clarity, the profound sacredness of human connection, the deep, often untapped wisdom held within our bodies, within our very cells, the simple yet utterly transformative power of conscious, intentional touch, touch that acts as a conduit for healing, for understanding, for renewal. When we allow ourselves to truly feel this absence, this quiet yearning, this unfulfilled need, we begin the gentle journey back home, back to ourselves, back to the possibility of rekindling that vital current, that sacred flow. It requires nothing more than a gentle turning, a soft reawakening, a quiet acknowledgement of what has always been there, waiting patiently for our attention. The very essence of life flows through connection, through the conscious, heartfelt exchange of energy. And touch, in its purest, most authentic form, is precisely that conscious exchange made manifest. It is the palpable expression of presence, of caring, of recognition, of love. It is the silent symphony of two souls resonating in harmony. So, let us simply sit with this for a moment. Feel the truth of it in your own being. Feel the quiet longing, the subtle sadness, the deep, undeniable knowing that something essential, something precious, has been, perhaps, merely asleep. Not gone, not dead, just waiting. But what sleeps can awaken. What has been forgotten can be remembered. The language of touch is not lost forever. It simply waits for us to speak it once more, with intention, with presence, with the gentle wisdom of a heart finally ready to reconnect to its own profound source of vitality. We speak of energy, of connection, of the vibrant current that flows between two souls, between a man and a woman. But then there comes a time, a quiet moment, when that flow seems to dim, or perhaps to vanish altogether. Where does it go? This life force, this yearning, this gentle hum that once filled the space between us. It often retreats behind silent barriers, unseen, unspoken, yet profoundly felt. Consider the unexpressed resentments, the small hurts gathered like pebbles at the bottom of a clear stream. Each one perhaps insignificant alone, but over time they accumulate. They form a silent sediment, a layer of unspoken truth blocking the natural flow. We learn to swallow words, to hold back a sigh, to turn away a gaze rather than reveal a vulnerability. And with each suppressed emotion, a tiny brick is added to an invisible wall. Not a wall of anger necessarily, but a wall of quiet distance, a barrier to intimacy. Then there is the simple weight of fatigue, the relentless rhythm of daily life, the demands of work, of family, of existence itself. We become tired. The body craves rest, not exploration. The mind seeks quiet, not engagement. And routine, that necessary structure of our lives, can sometimes become a cage. It lulls us into a comfortable predictability, yes, but it can also lull the senses. It can smooth over the edges of passion until they are no longer sharp, no longer inviting touch. The extraordinary becomes ordinary. The sacred moment merely another item on a list. And what of the deeper fears? The fear of vulnerability. To truly touch, to truly be touched, is to be seen, to be exposed. It asks us to lay bare not just our bodies, but our hearts, our imperfections, our anxieties. And for many, this feels like an immense risk, a terrifying leap into the unknown. What if we are rejected? What if we are misunderstood? What if the tenderness we offer is met with indifference? This fear, it can cause us to retreat, to shield ourselves, to build a protective shell around our innermost being, inadvertently closing off the very pathways to connection. We protect ourselves so well that the energy of touch cannot find its way in or out. And then the shadows of guilt or shame, those ancient echoes from our past, from our upbringing, from a society that often teaches us to view desire with suspicion, with judgment. We internalize these messages. We carry them, sometimes unconsciously. They tell us that certain feelings are wrong, that certain urges are impure, and when desire arises, pure and natural as it is, it can be met with an inner censor, a quiet voice that whispers, "No, not this, not now, this is not good." This inner conflict, it creates a profound block. It teaches us to disconnect from our own sensual nature, to push away the very current that seeks to express itself. These are the silent barriers, the unacknowledged architects of distance. They are not always conscious choices, but rather a slow accumulation of emotional and energetic blocks. And when energy is blocked, we don't lose sex alone. No, we lose something far more profound. We lose vitality, that vibrant creative spark that animates every aspect of our lives. We lose the joy in simple things, the inspiration to create, the zest for living. The very current of life itself begins to stagnate. It's like a river, once flowing freely, now choked with debris. The water is still there, beneath the surface, but its movement is hindered, its power diminished. The energy within you has never died. It's simply waiting, waiting for these blockages to be gently, tenderly illuminated. Desire. It is not the body calling, it is the soul singing. It is the soul's deepest yearning for connection, for wholeness, for the sacred dance of life itself. Desire is the language through which the soul speaks. And when we silence that song, when we deny that language, we silence a part of ourselves. We lose touch with a profound aspect of our being. Between a man and a woman flows not just passion, but life itself, a current of creation, healing, and deep understanding. A man doesn't lose power when he ages. He loses it when he stops looking with wonder, when he stops seeing the sacred in the mundane, when he stops honoring the delicate dance of energy within him and between him and another. And a woman, when she breathes deeply, life breathes with her. When she allows her energy to flow, she becomes a vibrant conduit for all that is beautiful and true. Attraction is not sin. It's the universe remembering itself. It is a primal pull, a recognition of complementary forces seeking harmony. To deny it, to shame it, is to deny a fundamental truth of existence. We are not here to accuse or to judge, but to observe, to understand, to shine a gentle light upon these hidden mechanisms that disconnect us from our own magnificent life force, from our own inspiration, and from the profound, beautiful connection that awaits us with another. Love, feel, breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken. We often speak of sexual energy as if it were a separate, contained thing, a primal urge, a biological imperative, perhaps. But what if we understood it not as an instinct apart from life, but as the very current of life itself? A deeper, more profound flow that animates everything around us and especially everything within us. Imagine for a moment the quiet hum beneath the surface of the world, the unseen force that draws planets to suns, roots to water, seeds to soil. This is not merely physics, it is a fundamental principle of attraction, of yearning, of belonging. And within us, it manifests as a sacred current, a vibrant pulse. Between a man and a woman flows not just passion, but life itself. It's a river of creation, healing, and profound connection that shapes our very being, long before it ever expresses itself in physical intimacy. This energy is the wellspring of our vitality, the quiet forge where new ideas are born, where inspiration sparks, and where the deepest layers of our spirit are nourished. This isn't about fleeting desire, though desire is certainly a part of its rich tapestry. This is about the fundamental force that seeks to unify, to create, to expand. It is the very breath of existence, made manifest in our human form. When we speak of attraction, we are not speaking of a simple chemical reaction, nor a base impulse. We are touching upon something far grander. Attraction is not sin. It's the universe remembering itself. It is the profound recognition of one soul by another, a deep resonance that vibrates through the very core of our being, calling us towards a wholeness we instinctively seek. Think of it, when you truly see someone, when you feel that inexplicable pull, that quiet spark of recognition, what is it that you are truly seeing? Is it just their form, their features? Or is it something deeper? an echo of your own essence, reflected in their eyes, in their smile, in the very way they hold themselves. This recognition is the universe whispering to itself, remembering its infinite connections, its sacred unity. It's a call to return to a state of profound interconnectedness, a state we often lose amidst the noise and distractions of modern life. And how does this recognition, this sacred current, express itself most intimately between humans? Through touch. Touch, in its purest form, is not merely a physical act. It is the language through which the soul speaks. It is a dialogue without words, a direct transmission of presence, of care, of recognition. When two people touch with true awareness, with an open heart, they are not just connecting skin to skin. They are merging energy fields, sharing the very essence of their being. It's an act of profound vulnerability and strength, an exchange that transcends the physical and reaches into the spiritual. Consider the simple act of holding a hand, the warmth, the pressure, the subtle pulse you might feel. In that moment, if you are truly present, you are offering more than just your hand. You are offering your attention, your presence, your very self. You are saying, without words, I see you, I feel you, you are not alone. And in receiving that touch, a similar exchange occurs. A subtle healing, a gentle affirmation. This is why when touch disappears, a relationship often begins to wither. It is not just physical affection that is missing. It is the vital flow of recognition, the soulful conversation that keeps the connection alive and vibrant. This energy, this sacred current, is not confined to romantic relationships. It is the same impulse that drives an artist to create, a musician to compose, a healer to comfort. It is the raw, untamed force of creativity that flows through all of us. When this energy is blocked, we don't lose sex, we lose vitality. We lose our creative spark, our passion for life, our ability to connect deeply with others and with ourselves. The wellspring of inspiration begins to dry, and a quiet sadness, a longing settles in. We feel disconnected, adrift. The body feels distant from the soul, and the vibrant current that once flowed freely seems to have receded, leaving us feeling diminished. This blockage often stems from misunderstanding, from fear, from societal conditioning that has taught us to compartmentalize this energy, to deem parts of it good and parts bad. But this energy, in its essence, is neither good nor bad. It simply is. It is a pure, neutral force, waiting to be channeled, to be understood, to be honored. When we approach it with reverence, with curiosity, with a willingness to feel rather than to judge, we begin to unlock its incredible potential. Why does passion disappear? Often because we stop paying attention. We cease to be present. We forget that the sacred current requires conscious acknowledgement, a willingness to engage, to explore, to feel. Passion is not a fire that burns endlessly on its own. It is a flame that must be tended, nourished by the fuel of presence, of wonder, of mutual recognition. How can intimacy return? By rekindling that sacred touch, not just physically, but energetically. By allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, to truly see and be seen. By recognizing that the longing we feel is not a weakness, but an invitation. An invitation to reconnect with the deepest parts of ourselves and with each other. It's about remembering that the body is not just a vessel for desire, but a temple for the soul, a sensitive instrument capable of exquisite resonance. How can desire become a source of inspiration, strength, and creativity again? By understanding its true nature. By recognizing that desire is not the body calling, it is the soul singing. It is the soul's yearning for wholeness, for expression, for union. When we honor this song, when we allow this sacred current to flow freely, it becomes a wellspring of creative power. It energizes our minds, ignites our spirits, and empowers us to bring our unique gifts into the world. A man doesn't lose power when he ages. He loses it when he stops looking with wonder. And when a woman breathes deeply, life breathes with her, awakening the dormant creative force within. This is not a journey of techniques or instructions. It is a journey of remembering, of feeling, of listening to the subtle whispers of your own soul. It is about allowing yourself to be open to the profound beauty of this life force that resides within you, waiting to be acknowledged, to be celebrated. Love, feel, breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken. And so, we find ourselves at a quiet crossroads, don't we? A place where the vibrant hum of connection might have softened, where the vibrant thread between two souls, once so brilliantly illuminated, now feels a little dimmed. It's a familiar ache, this yearning for what once was, or perhaps for what always could be. A silent question lingers in the air of our lives. How do we find our way back? When the gentle current of touch, once so natural, begins to recede, leaving behind a subtle, chilling distance, what then? It's not just a physical void that appears, it's a spiritual one, a quiet sorrow that settles in the heart of a relationship. For between a man and a woman flows not just passion, but life itself. And when that current falters, when the unspoken language of skin and presence dims, a deeper essence begins to wane. This absence of touch, this fading of sensual exchange, is not merely a symptom of a dying relationship. It is often the very cause of its slow dissipation. When that vital energetic pathway closes, something profound shifts within us, individually and collectively. We don't just lose the physical act, we lose a fundamental conduit for our life force. When energy is blocked, we don't lose sex, we lose vitality. We lose the spark that ignites creativity, the warmth that fuels compassion, the deep wellspring of healing that resides within every human being. The spirit feels parched, the soul grows restless, and the subtle currents that once nourished our very being seem to withdraw, leaving us feeling disconnected, not just from another, but from our own vibrant core. The path back, my dear friend, is not paved with grand gestures or intricate techniques designed to fix something broken. It is instead a journey inward, a gentle turning towards the very wellspring of our being. It is the path of return, an awakening not through doing, but through presence, through the quiet, courageous act of simply being there. It is a profound recalibration, a remembering of how to truly inhabit our bodies, our moments, and our connections with an open heart. We are often taught to seek solutions outside ourselves, to mend what seems broken with external fixes, with words or with actions that skim the surface. But the intimacy we yearn for, the touch that truly nourishes, begins its delicate reblossoming within us. It asks us to cultivate an inner garden, to tend to the soil of our own awareness, to become deeply present to our own sensations, our own breath, our own beating heart, before we can truly offer that presence to another. This journey demands a certain kind of bravery, the courage to feel again, to peel back the layers of habit, of distance, of quiet resignation, and to allow the raw, tender truth of our being to surface. It requires us to shed the armor we've perhaps unconsciously built, brick by brick, against hurt, against disappointment, against the very vulnerability that is the gateway to genuine intimacy. We may have learned to suppress our desires, to intellectualize our feelings, to retreat into the safe, albeit lonely, confines of our minds. But desire, you see, is not just the body calling, it is the soul singing. It is the primal, innocent expression of our life force reaching out, seeking resonance, seeking union. To deny it, to diminish it, is to diminish a part of ourselves. And to acknowledge it, to honor it with gentle curiosity, is to open a door to profound self-discovery. Attraction is not sin. It's the universe remembering itself, a fundamental law of existence, a gentle magnetism that pulls life towards life, echoing the cosmic dance of creation. To embrace this natural, sacred pull is to embrace our own inherent goodness, our own capacity for connection. Perhaps we start small, a conscious gaze, not just seeing the surface, the familiar lines, the passing expressions, but truly looking into the eyes of another, allowing your own vulnerability to meet theirs. To hold that gaze just for a moment longer than feels comfortable, allowing the unspoken currents to flow between your souls. To let a silent message pass between you, a message that says, "I am here, I see you, I am willing to be seen." This simple act can be a profound key, unlocking chambers of forgotten intimacy, rekindling the light of recognition. We often forget the immense power held in a truly present gaze. It bypasses words, bypasses defenses, and speaks directly to the soul. For a man doesn't lose power when he ages. He loses it when he stops looking with wonder. When his gaze loses its capacity for awe, for deep appreciation, for seeing the living, breathing miracle before him. And a woman, in turn, blossoms under the gaze that truly perceives her essence, not just her form, but the luminous spirit that resides within her. This is a look that says, "I cherish you in your entirety." Or perhaps it begins with the gentle offering of a hand, not as a mere formality, a fleeting touch, but as an intentional gesture. To truly feel the warmth, the texture, the pulse of another in your own palm. To let the stories held within those hands, stories of joy, of struggle, of shared history, of enduring love, whisper through that silent, skin-to-skin contact. To hold it not out of obligation, not as a habit, but out of a profound, conscious desire to connect, to bridge the perceived gap that has quietly grown between you. This is where the ancient wisdom of the body begins to stir, to remember. Our hands are potent instruments of connection, capable of conveying comfort, reassurance, and a deep sense of belonging without a single word. They are the first language we often learn, and they remain the most primal. And then there is the breath. This most fundamental rhythm of life, often unconscious, yet profoundly intimate. To simply sit or lie beside another and to consciously synchronize your breathing. To feel the gentle rise and fall of their chest, echoing your own. To allow your own breath to deepen, to lengthen, to soften, to expand, and to sense that subtle, shared dance of life unfolding beside you. This shared respiration creates a silent, energetic bridge, a profound attunement that transcends the physical. When a woman breathes deeply, life breathes with her. Her vitality, her sensuality, her very essence expands and flows freely. And when a man allows his own breath to connect with hers, to mirror her rhythm, a sacred space is woven between them, a silent symphony of shared existence, a profound experience of resonance. Desire is not the body calling, it is the soul singing. And this shared breath, this conscious, synchronized rhythm is often the quiet, unassuming chorus of that very song, inviting the soul to express its deepest longings for unity. When we allow ourselves again to truly feel, the body remembers its ancient wisdom. It holds within its very cells the memory of connection, of belonging, of ecstatic union. It yearns to be reawakened, not with force, not with expectation, but with reverence and tenderness. This return to touch, you see, begins with a return to yourself, to your own body, to your own inner current of life. To listen to its whispers, to honor its needs, to reconnect with the sensual landscape of your own being. For when energy is blocked, we don't lose sex, we lose vitality. We lose the creative impulse, the healing potential, the very juice of life that flows within us, waiting to be acknowledged and celebrated. This inner cultivation is the foundation upon which authentic outer connection is built. It means giving yourself permission to be vulnerable, to open not just to another, but to the full spectrum of your own being, to your own inner landscape without judgment, to acknowledge the quiet sadness, the longing, the curiosity, the burgeoning hope, to understand that attraction is not sin, it's the universe remembering itself, a beautiful, natural expression of life's longing for connection. This magnetic energy, this current of life, is always within you, vibrant and alive, waiting. It has never truly faded. It has simply been awaiting your conscious invitation, your gentle attention, your courageous willingness to open, to soften, to feel. This is not a race, my friend. It is a slow, deliberate unveiling, a process that demands patience and, above all, profound tenderness, both for yourself and for the other. Each small act of conscious presence, each gentle glance, each intentional touch, each shared breath is a brushstroke on a masterpiece, slowly revealing the vibrant colors of intimacy once more. Allow yourself this journey, this gentle reacquaintance with the sacred currents that define us, that connect us, that allow us to truly live. Do not rush it. Do not force it. Simply allow it to unfold, like a flower turning towards the sun, guided by its own innate wisdom. Love, feel, breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken. Perhaps in our journey together, we've touched upon the quiet spaces where intimacy once resided, and the longing for its return. We've considered how absence of touch can feel like a fading of life itself. But let us now turn our gaze deeper, beyond the skin, beyond the spoken word, to the very source of that warmth, that connection, that yearning. Many of us reach a point where we perceive a dimming, a shadow falling over the vibrant landscapes of our inner world. We speak of losing passion, of a fading desire, as if a precious flame has guttered. We mourn the absence of that undeniable spark, that electrifying current that once pulsed so brightly. But what if this perception is merely a veil? What if that flame hasn't died, but merely receded, waiting patiently for the breath that will coax it back to life? The energy that flows within you, that has always flowed, is not something that can truly be lost. It is the very essence of your being. It is the river that carved the canyons of your experience, the wind that whispered through the ancient leaves of your memories, the silent hum of creation vibrating in every cell. Between a man and a woman flows not just passion, but life itself. This current, this sacred flow, it doesn't vanish. It cannot. It merely changes its expression. It transforms. It waits. This profound energy, so often confined to the narrow, sometimes fearful understanding of sexual desire, is in truth infinitely more vast. It is the fundamental force that compels a tiny seed to push through resistant soil, reaching relentlessly for the sun. It is the irresistible impulse that drives an artist to create beauty from chaos, a healer to offer comfort where there is pain, a lover to seek profound union, to merge and expand. Desire, in its purest form, is the language through which the soul speaks. It is not merely a physical craving, a fleeting urge. It is the universe remembering itself, a deep, resonant hum of creation vibrating within your very core. The yearning for connection, for wholeness, for the echo of your own divine spark in another. Attraction is not sin. It's the universe remembering itself. It is a recognition of shared light, a harmonious dance of polarities that promises new understanding, new life, new depth. When this potent energy is blocked, constrained, or denied its natural flow, we don't merely lose sex, we lose vitality. We lose that vibrant, undeniable connection to the world around us, and, perhaps more profoundly, to the world within us. The spirit dampens. The colors of life seem to subtly fade. The symphony of existence plays in a quieter, less resonant key. But consider this truth. The river does not truly dry up. It may, for a season, go underground. It may slow to a whisper, a barely perceptible trickle beneath the surface. It may even seem to vanish into a parched, forgotten landscape. But the source remains, the deep spring. The current still flows, albeit hidden, awaiting release, awaiting recognition, awaiting your conscious, loving presence. We often mistake age for diminishing returns, as if the passage of years themselves acts as a drain, siphoning off our potency, our sensuality, our capacity for joy. But this is a profound misunderstanding. The body changes, yes. Its rhythms adapt. Its expressions evolve. But the core energy, the spirit's inextinguishable fire, remains. It simply matures. It deepens. A man doesn't lose power when he ages. He loses it when he stops looking with wonder, when he ceases to see the miraculous in the ordinary touch, the sacred in the sensual embrace, the infinite in the intimate gaze, when he stops marveling at the sheer, breathtaking mystery of existence. And for a woman, when a woman breathes deeply, life breathes with her. Her power isn't confined to the fleeting bloom of youth, but blossoms into a vast, fertile depth. Her wisdom, her profound capacity to hold, to nurture, to generate life and meaning. Her sensuality ripens like a rare, exquisite wine, becoming richer, more complex, more profoundly felt, more deeply shared. The wonder, you see, is not just in seeing the world with your eyes, but in feeling it resonate within your very being, in allowing its beauty, its mystery, its raw, untamed power to echo in your soul. When we close ourselves off to wonder, we inadvertently close ourselves off to life's vibrant, unending current. We build walls against the very energy that sustains us. How then do we awaken this sleeping giant, this gentle yet powerful river within? Not through striving, not through force of will, not through complicated techniques or external seeking, but through presence, through a quiet attention, through a loving awareness that understands surrender is a greater power than control. It begins, as all life begins, with breath, the oldest, most sacred rhythm, a simple inhale, a full, unhurried exhale, allowing the breath to descend deep into your belly, into the very core of your being, feeling the life force expand and contract within you like the tide of a vast, deep ocean. It comes from listening to the subtle, sometimes forgotten whispers of your body, not judging what you hear, not demanding a particular response, just listening. What does your body truly desire? What does it long to express? What does it seek to heal, to release, to embrace? It is found in the gentle touch, not just the touch of another, but the reverence of your own hands upon your skin, a gesture of profound acknowledgement, of deep respect. Saying, silently, I am here. I feel you. You are worthy. You are whole. This self-intimacy is the fertile ground from which all other intimacy grows. Desire is not the body calling, it is the soul singing. And when we honor that song, when we allow it to rise, unhindered and authentic, it transforms us, it fills us, it connects us to ourselves, to others, and to the boundless creative pulse of the universe. This energy, this sacred current, it is not a commodity to be hoarded or spent. It is a wellspring to be tasted, to be shared, to be flowed. It is endlessly renewable, so long as we tend to its source with care, with respect, with love, with a quiet, unwavering reverence for the miracle of being alive. So let us find peace in this understanding, that what you may have felt has faded, has not truly gone. It has simply withdrawn, perhaps for a time of quiet contemplation, a time to gather strength, a time to be rediscovered from a place of deeper wisdom, richer experience. Your vital current, your sensuality, your profound capacity for intimacy and joy, it resides within you, whole and complete, awaiting your gentle touch, awaiting your accepting gaze, awaiting your permission to flow freely once more. It is the quiet warmth you feel when you simply are, when you breathe, when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, to be open, to be present in this precious moment. This is where the true power lies, not in what you do, but in what you allow. Feel this warmth spreading through you now, from your center outwards, a soft, radiant glow, a silent, ancient promise, the knowing that you are infinitely connected to the pulse of life itself, to the ebb and flow of all creation. There is no striving here, no technique to master, only a return to your natural state, to the simple, profound truth of your being, to the quiet, undeniable hum of life within you. Love, feel, breathe. The energy within you has never died. It's been waiting for you to awaken.